Hello and welcome back to the Wrexham Way. Hope you're all doing well and looking forward to today's episode as we take on Arsenal and Hoffenheim in the Premier League and Champions League respectively. As said last episode, we'll play either Arsenal or Chelsea, whoever's higher in the Premier League table, and Arsenal have turned it around. They're up to 7th in the table, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, whilst Chelsea have not scored a single point since the last episode. So welcome back, good to see you. Make sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you are new around here for what is going to be a very interesting season. In between episodes, it's been up and down, a little bit tough, and I think we're deciding and finding, I should say, that the rotation of the squad is necessary, but also it's causing a few issues with results and performances. So let's just jump in to what's happened since you guys were last here for the Brighton win and the Real Madrid loss. Well, this is what's happened. We started off with a 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace here, a game which we did do quite well in, much higher XG and shots, but we couldn't quite get the result we wanted with a almost fully rotated team there, as you can see, even Ezequiel Gallardo playing in goal for us there. We drew 2-2. Not the worst result in the world. We did get back to winning ways against Tottenham, a 1-0 win there in the EFL Cup third round. So a cup game, a cup competition that we want to try and win this season. We're in for 5 trophies this season. We want to try and win them all. So good to get a result there for us. And it was also good to just about beat Newcastle, but we were very much helped along by them being down to 10 men for 60 minutes of that game. We then went in to the game against Fenerbahce, and I'll be honest, I can't understand how we've won this one 10-1. We were so good in this game. I mean, 17 shots on target to put 10 of them in the back of the net is pretty impressive. Even more so is Frank Nice scoring 5 goals. But after that, our players were very tired. A very quick turnaround for the game against Liverpool, where we lost it 2-1. Even with Liverpool down to 10 men for a good 80 minutes of the game. Now, match stat-wise, really, we should have won this game. You look at the match stats and think, how on earth have we not won it? They have a high XG because of the penalty that they scored as well. But really, this was a game that, it infuriates me. Luckily for us, though, it does mean we are still second in the table, 3 points behind Leicester, who are running away with things right now. They are fantastic in terms of their goal difference, fantastic in terms of points, not lost a game yet this season. They're doing really well. But what I also love is the top 4 right now is Leicester, Wrexham, Southampton and Newcastle. I just love how this save file has really disrupted things in the Premier League. I mean, obviously we've won it, which is quite cool, but West Ham won it a few years ago, which is pretty impressive. Leicester could have won it last season if they were better. We've just seen, and Brighton obviously, they're down in 16th right now. They've had Champions League football in recent years. They're in the Champions League this season because they won the Europa League last season. I just love how mixed up this all is. Obviously Tottenham in the Premier League again, but they got relegated at one point. Chelsea and Arsenal aren't that good anymore. Man City have dropped down a fair bit. I just love how this has all been twisted around. So for me, I am loving the look of the Premier League and the Wrexham Way right now. But heading into this game against Arsenal, you can see the effects of fitness hitting some of our players. Rotation is becoming a big part of the matchday experience. And as you can see, Yilmaz Turk and Paniotov, both with fitness warnings, will take them off in the middle of this game at some point early in the second half to make sure we rest them. We're also dropping a few players like Luis Felipe and Neto, both a little bit tired. Daniel Patrick got an injury for 5 weeks or so. He's out for a little while too. It's not ideal, but we have got a squad for a reason. And I'm starting to realise that some of our backup players aren't really there, if I'm honest with you. Hector Garcia as a backup centre-back is not really of the level required for us, I must say. He's a player that I may want to get rid of and replace as we enter into the January transfer window. So this January might be more about getting some better backups or maybe better first team players to make some of these first team players backups, but it'll be an interesting one. Either way, I digress. Mantle starts in goal with a backline of 8 Nuri, Ariambi, Nopodom and Dest. Also just in front of them is Martinez, the usual CDM, but the midfield is slightly different again. We've got Alparslan and Paniotov, but also Asper in there with them, with Nice and Pereira leading the line. Pereira has 5 goals to his name, but Nice has got 10 goals to his name, although 5 of them did come against Fenerbahce in the Champions League. So maybe a little bit inflated by that result. But kickoff is underway here today against Arsenal, and I am very much looking forward to this one. Arsenal are a bit of a yo-yo team in the fact that they, one season are in like the Champions League places, the next season they are dropping outside of Europe, the next season Champions League. I mean, they won the Champions League 2 seasons ago. Like, that's how good they should be, and yet they also just drop off massively and don't do anything. Arsenal yo-yo in that respect, not between the Championship and the Premier League, but yo-yo between a great season and a terrible season essentially for them. But currently they find themselves just outside the European places, I believe. Their goalkeeper, of course, is a player that I still really want, and I'm hoping that they do finish outside of the European places this year so we can try and poach their keeper, because if they don't get European football, surely he'd want to join a European club, and hopefully we'll have European football next season. So that's kind of my plan with their keeper, because he looks absolutely insane. The best keeper we've found for a long, long way. And he is slightly interested in joining us. It's just the price tag is going to be very expensive on him, as we saw in the transfer window when they rejected like a stupid £200 million bid or something like that. Oh, this is quite exciting for us too. West Ham, I've just seen, are 1-0 up against Leicester, who of course are unbeaten this season so far. But them losing doesn't help if we can't win, as Bellingham puts Arsenal 1-0 up. And actually, the Arsenal win right now, if they have results staying as they are right now, takes them from 8th to 3rd in the table. It's very, very tight right now, but Frank Nice is through, and Frank Nice gets his goal. He goes around the keeper beautifully there, putting that one in the back of the net, bringing us back to level terms. You love to see it. Let's watch this again, by the way, because it's a great ball from Asper here. All the way over the top, finds Nice in open space, and the way he's got the composure to just round the keeper like that, get it on target with 4 players bearing down on him. Frank Nice is an absolutely superb player, and as you can also see, Arsenal drop back down to 8th place in the table. Can we grab a second goal as Pereira gets a ball? Not into the middle. It's been cleared and defended quite well, but only as far as Nopodom, who gets it back into Vestel. I can't say his name. I want to say Sebastian Vettel every time I see his name. Unfortunately, this time, Nice can't get around the keeper. And now there's not long to go until half-time. Can we break the deadlock and get ourselves in front before half-time? That would be a lovely way to enter into the half-time period, as Nice finds the ball through to Pereira, not known for his one-on-one opportunities, and, well, as you can see there, does not finish his one-on-one opportunity, as we've seen him do time and time again. He's not had the best start to the season. Obviously scored a hat-trick in the FA Community Shield. Since then, has only scored 2 goals. It's a little bit frustrating. I think what I might do is have a word with him actually in between games and just say, you're not scoring too many goals, lad. Please score some more. Because we rejected £200 million bids from Bayern Munich for that guy to stay at the club. And every time he doesn't score a goal, I'm thinking we should have sold him. We should have sold him. We should have sold him. But if they were prepared to pay £200 million last summer, they might be prepared to do it again, as we lose possession in the defence. Not the greatest move from us there at all, but we are defending quite well as we win the ball back. Great stuff there from Asper, who's been all over the pitch today. Really solid from him today. Very impressed as Pereira has been put through again into the area. This time, puts it wide. But that's not quite it. We have got another highlight just before half-time. A free kick for Arsenal. And if they take the lead before half-time, I'll be upset. But Nopodom there with a good headed clearance, as Pereira makes a good challenge on the halfway line. Finds the ball to Frank Nice, who shoots from outside the area just over the bar. Again, we've had quite a few decent opportunities in this game. And our XG is through the roof, as you can see, compared to Arsenal's. But the main metric, the scoreline, is still 1-1, and we need to do better. There's a highlight, though, just after half-time, and if we can go and get an early goal in this second half, as Pereira is through, onside, still can't finish those one-on-ones. It makes Ricardo Pepi look quite good, actually, I'll be honest. It makes Ricardo Pepi look really, really good, as Paniotov finds a ball into the middle, cleared from the back. Will the highlight continue? No, it won't. No, it won't. You hate to see it. The good thing, though, is that Leicester are still losing, and loads of other games are still 0-0 as well. So there's not a whole lot of movement in the table right now. Southampton are winning as well, and they're not overtaking us right now. So that's quite handy as well. But If Arian B could just get the header on target, that could have put us in the lead of this game and level on points with Leicester, who have got a much better goal difference than us because of our early mishaps this season, conceding quite a few goals. We seem to have just stopped conceding quite so many, but clean sheets are still pretty rare for us this season. It's also way past the time I was meant to make subs. Right, Nice always got a knock. Let's bring him off for Randy, but we also want to bring off Panayotov for Sousa, and then we'll also bring on Tape for Yilmaz Turk. Maybe swap those two over just like that, because I think they prefer it that way around. Okay, let's do that. So substitutes have been made. I realised that highlight a minute ago was for the substitutes just going on in the background. So the substitutes have been made now, and on the 70th minute, there is a highlight as Pereira's been put through. Another one-on-one. I don't understand how he bottles so many one-on-ones when he's got 17 finishing. I mean, composure of 13 is maybe a little bit low. Maybe decisions of 13 is a little bit low. Maybe the mentals are just a bit too low. Like, if they were like 14, 15, 15, he'd be an absolute bagsman. But I guess the mentals are just a little bit too low on Pereira, and they just haven't quite developed. But he's still a world-class striker. That's the annoying part about it. Like, if he was just a little bit better in those areas, wow, he'd be, you know, an Mbappe or something like that maybe. The clock ticks down though, and we've only managed to get a draw here today against Arsenal, despite having 30 shots in that game, an XG of 3.35, and I think I'd say 2.5 of those have come from Pedro Pereira bottling opportunities. That is so frustrating. Thrash the Arms really should have won that game, particularly with Leicester losing. I don't think they scored a goal. We'll see the reaction or the result in a second. And what did they do? Leicester lost 2-1 in the end. That's really annoying. So Nice is out for 1 to 3 days. Will be fit enough to play for the Hoffenheim game, which is okay. But already fitness concerns this season for Bright Arian B and Panayotov. Okay, what I'll do, I think, is probably rest everyone, but for 2 days as opposed to 1 day. Training, rest, 2 days, just to make sure they really are fully fit and focused and ready to go in this Champions League game. Now, of course, we lost to Real Madrid last episode, but beat Fenerbahce in between episodes, which is great. Beat Hoffenheim today, and it should put us in a great position. As you can see, all 4 teams have played 2 games, and we're all sitting on 3 points. Where we lost to Real Madrid and Hoffenheim lost to Fenerbahce, the next time around, we beat Fenerbahce and Hoffenheim beat Real Madrid. So it's a bit of a weird one. I'm not quite sure who the strongest team actually is. And when I thought Hoffenheim and Fenerbahce might be the easier games in this group, all of a sudden, with everyone on 3 points, I don't think anyone's going to be an easy game. So it is crucial that we get the win here today against Hoffenheim. We are top of the group right now based on goal difference because we absolutely battered Fenerbahce. So for this game then, we're going to bring Neto back onto the pitch, Luis Felipe back onto the pitch. Daniel Patrick's still injured, so Asper will stay on the pitch. That's the team. It's the best team we've got going. Let's go for it. Right, kickoff is upon us here today. At home against Hoffenheim, the crowd should be with us, the home advantage is with us. We should be getting some decent results here today. And if we can just do what we did against Fenerbahce, then another 10-1 win would be absolutely superb. We'll keep an eye out for the Fenerbahce and Real Madrid game. I expect Real Madrid to win it, but you never know what's going to happen because this group seems very bizarre right now. One moment, Fenerbahce beating Hoffenheim, the next moment they're losing 10-1 to us. And then Hoffenheim are beating Real Madrid, who beat. It's such a weird. I can't work out who's good and who's not good, but hopefully we get a decent result here today, and we get our first win in the Champions League on camera. Now immediately Madrid are winning. I've seen them go to 6 points. I can't see what the scoreline is because I've not looked properly on my latest scores, but I have seen them go to 6 points. So Madrid have taken an early lead in their game against Fenerbahce. As Mantle's clearance goes all the way through to Pereira. How the defence have misjudged that, I don't know, but don't worry. It's Pereira. How he's missed that, I don't know. I mean, it's great defensive work. Great defensive work. But how he's let the defence catch up to him that much, I don't know. I also forgot to talk to him. I meant to talk to him in between games, didn't I? We'll do it after this game and just bollock him a little bit for not scoring goals, essentially, as Neto on the ball into Pereira. Actually does score a goal this time. Okay, if he gets a couple more, we'll praise him instead. But actually, he's bloody scored a goal. And as a result, we do go into second place in the group. Why is that? Why were we behind Real Madrid beforehand and now ahead of them? Because actually, we should have been behind them anyway on a head-to-head record. Or is it... I don't know. Oh, no, because... No, actually, that shouldn't be the case, should it? Because we're now level on points with them and not level on points with the other two. So we do go behind on the head-to-head record, whereas before, everyone sort of beating each other. So it was a bit of a weird system on goal difference, I suppose. But still, we are behind Madrid now because they beat us. So we need to beat them in the second game we play later on this season. But Asper gets a goal to his name on the 32-minute mark to make it 2-0 to us. I never know if I like the head-to-head record or prefer goal difference. I feel like I prefer goal difference because that's how it's done in England and it's just what I've been brought up with. Head-to-head is probably more fair, really, if I'm honest with you, but I just like goal difference because that's what I've been brought up with. But I'm sure it's very different. I know it's very different around the world in most other leagues. Either way, coming forward now with the ball is Aït-Nouri. He's been really good for us so far this season. Gets it into Alparslan, into Frank Nice, who finds Paniotov arriving through the middle, whose shot is just wide of the mark. But a really good first half from us here. We've controlled the game quite nicely. Hoffenheim have had a few shots, but none of them on target. And as you can see from the XG, it's through the roof for us. We deserve our lead. And hopefully from this point onwards now, we are just going to control this Champions League group, at least, to be in the top two. If we come second to Real Madrid, well, there's no shame in that. So as long as we just finish in the top two, like I said, I think we said it a few episodes ago, the quarterfinals is the minimum for me. I think we have to be looking at the quarterfinals at an absolute minimum, unless in the first knockout round we're drawn against like a PSG, one of the absolute powerhouses. I think Juventus won the Champions League last season, so, a Juventus would be very difficult if we came up against them in the first knockout round. But for me, quarterfinals at the absolute minimum, that's how good we should be, as Alparslan can't make it 3. Now, actually, looking down here, there's not too many tired faces, although Frank Nice didn't properly quite recover. So we'll bring him off for Randy Ramheimer, and we'll also bring Yilmaz Turk off for... We've not got many centre mids on the bench. I'm such an idiot, by the way, because we never actually sold Lavia in the end. No one ever bid for him. He never left the club. So my plan is to sell him in January at some point. But when it came to registering the squad for the Champions League, we couldn't register everyone because of homegrown status rules. But somehow, Vasco Sousa get left out of the squad. I purposely left Vasco Sousa out of the squad, but somehow managed to include Lavia. I wasn't really thinking straight at the time, which is quite frustrating. I'd much rather have Vasco Sousa than Lavia available to us in these Champions League games. So I'll swap them around, I think, in the interim period when we get to register teams again for January. So that'd be quite good, or the second half of the Champions League, the knockout stage, I should say. So I'll do that then. But for now, Lavia on the pitch, not played many times this season. Probably deserves to play a lot more, actually, really. But I'm kind of sick of him just sticking around at the club at this moment when he kept refusing deals away from the club. That really annoyed me, and it lowered his estimations for me. Or lowered my estimations for him, I should probably say. That's the correct way of doing it, isn't it? Either way, with about 10 or so minutes to go in this game, we are still in control, but we have seen a few Hoffenheim chances. And that one's gone in the back of the net. Tejas Magno, with the goal there. It's a solid one. Maybe we should be worried for these final 10 minutes or so. This is a team that did beat Real Madrid. They know how to win games. They know how to play football. I'm stating the obvious, but they beat Real Madrid. We couldn't do that. So maybe we do need to be a little bit careful in the final 10 minutes or so. But it seems to me that the boys are doing the job they need to do as the clock ticks down. Wrexham 2, Hoffenheim 1. It's a big win for us today in the Champions League. Also, £2.5 million in prize money as well. Very happy with that. Helps the bank balance out quite nicely as we go second in the group behind Madrid in the head-to-head record. Okay, well that's pretty good then. Before we forget things as well, I do want to have a little chat with Pedro Pereira, who is wanted by whom? Bayern Munich still. You see, I'm now a lot more tempted to sell him to Bayern Munich for £200 million or so, although I doubt they'll actually bid that again. Maybe 150. That's where I'm starting to think maybe we sort of accept it instead, but he is a good player. You know, look at his history. He is a great player. He's got 23 goals that season, 13 that season, but did have an injury for quite a while. 19 in all competitions that season, which actually doesn't seem that many, to be fair, considering how many games he played. But, you know, I know he's a good player. Let's praise him, though, for his last game and say, well done scoring a goal, basically. And hopefully that will just help him, give him some confidence to score some more goals going forward. Next episode, then, I think we come back for Real Madrid and Southampton, who are flying high so far this season. We'll come back for that next episode, because I think we do need to do this Real Madrid game, and we need to beat them to try and go top of the group. And then the episode after that, we'll probably end up doing a Fenerbahce and a maybe Man City, maybe Brentford, one of the two, but definitely Fenerbahce in the game after that. So a lot of Champions League group stage games we played this season, but it's our first time in it. We want to try and make the most of it, and I want to show you guys the Champions League stuff, because we never know how long we're actually going to be in the Champions League. We could drop out this season if things don't go well in the second half of it. So thank you very much for watching today. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure you do drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new around here, and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Until then, have a good one. Goodbye.